everything. He did all the built-ins. He built this little barn in the backyard. But at a certain point, as our family got bigger, he was like, and it's hilarious, by the way. I'll mention this. It was a three-bedroom house. I have two sisters, and my mom and dad had their room, and my bedroom was a closet. So I like to say like my first bedroom was a closet. And then
Like Harry Potter under the stairs closet? Like what type of closet are we talking about
I
here?
think it was like an old house from the 20s, so it was probably like a big linen closet that like probably fit underneath the stairs. I don't really remember it, honestly. I just remember it kind of was like L shaped. So it was probably big enough for like a bed and like a chest of drawers.
Uh-huh.
I do remember, and again, like I was super young, but I remember feeling very cozy there. Like I remember feeling like it
Like a
was really
hug. It
cozy.
was like a hug.
It was totally like a hug, but it was also a closet. I was born into a closet, which is also hilarious as a gay man because I eventually got out of the closet um,
I
in
wasn't gonna
college.
say it.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for you. You have permission, Olivia. We're friends.
Listen,
We're totally friends.
I'm just yeah. It was
But
there. It was right there. But I was like, I'm just gonna let him talk.
no, I respect that. That is very good. Thank you. Thank you. I give you permission. But so we moved
Oh,
from this house where my dad did everything. He built like his backyard swing set. He built this little barn in the backyard. He did all these like built-ins. And then we moved to like a house in the suburbs. It was kind of like brand new. And he got real busy. He got a new job and he didn't sort of have the time to sort of put that impact on it. And as you get older, like these projects become harder and harder to accomplish. And it's something I think about all the time because I always want to be in a place where wherever we end up and wherever my family ends up moving to, I'm always going to have enough energy to be able to sort of invest in this space,
hmm
you know, so
yeah,
that we can make this space meaningful to us. Years later, I went back to that house, my childhood house, and talked with the owners who had bought it from my mom and dad. And they were like, oh my gosh, your dad built all these things. They're still there. Like we always like, and especially nowadays with our relationship to sort of handcrafted anything, it's so expensive. It takes
yeah,
so much time. And I think we all deserve that opportunity to live with sort of things that are handmade, but like it's just we don't we don't get that opportunity because life is busy and things are expensive. So
yeah,
again, like a part of our show is like giving people that opportunity to have that experience of really being connected to their physical space.
yeah. And legacy. I mean, that's what you're talking about when you
Hmm.
handcraft something and it lives on from one generation to another or from one family to another.
Hmm.
Like that's your dad's legacy that he's leaving
Totally.
behind. And yeah, so especially if it's a home that was handed down through the generations, it does become important to honor that legacy and to keep that intact. Two things came to
Absolutely.
mind when you were
Yeah.
talking. So you also talked about your dad's study in your childhood home and how you didn't know where it was because it was hidden, right? He had this bookcase that would
Yep.
open up. So
Hmm.
I'm really starting to feel like you did grow up in the house that Harry Potter grew up in, right?
There's a secret door. Olivia, my dad made a secret door so he could go and like hide from the family while he like, typed up his PhD. So yes,
Your dad is fascinating to me. I think he went to Hogwarts as a child.
maybe, maybe.
And, and then
Yeah.
the second thing that comes to mind is, are homes different in Canada? And that may
That's a
be a
good
silly
question.
question, but like, is the style of homes in Canada different from the US? Are there different priorities on certain rooms? So, like in the US, a big kitchen, a
Yeah.
wide open floor plan,
Yep.
um, really nice primary bathroom, like those are the things that are important. Is it the same
Yeah.
in Canadian homes?
I mean, that's a really good question. I think like the short answer is yes. Like, I mean, Canadians, Americans share so many values. So I think, yeah, the short answer is yes. I'm going to go a little bit off track and say one of the things I love to do, no matter what city I'm in Southern California, you're going to find one row of insulation. If you go to Home Depot in Massachusetts, you're going to find multiple levels of insulation because keeping that place warm is a really important thing.
Right.
Also in Southern California, you're going to find multiple rows of, landscape irrigation. So obviously in Canada, there's much more emphasis put on like good windows, much more emphasis on air tightness, vapor seals, and all that stuff. So I'm just like fascinated the way every home is reflective. But
That
I
makes so
think
much sense. So structural
totally.
components, energy
Mhm.
efficiency, things that keep the house warm because it's so cold, that's what's
Yes,
prioritized.
yes.
Fascinating.
And in general, and this is like a huge generalization, I do feel like in Canada, um, things are a little bit smaller. I do remember feeling, especially down in the South, like land, there's more land, or there's more, I don't know. Things always felt bigger in the States. As a kid, whenever I went to the States, everything just felt a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bigger is better in the States. At least
Yeah.
that's what the perception is. Take that how you
That's
want it.
cool. Hey, you invented the SUV. And by the way, I bought in. I
That's
have an
true.
F-150, so I bigger is better.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's why islands, kitchen islands. I have a client,
Hmm.
amazing clients, love them to pieces, and they just moved into their new house. And the island, I kid you not, is 14 feet wide by 8 feet deep. You, yes, it
That's
keep going.
gigantic,
Keep going,
Olivia.
keep pulling it.
What?
You could have an
No,
entire
totally.
dance
Eight,
party on that
eight,
island.
8 feet. You can't reach the middle of that
You
island.
can't.
That's
And you
and
clean
by
it
the way,
with a Swiffer. Like, you need a
oh
Swiffer
my
with a
God.
long pole to clean the middle.
Okay, and this is I'm gonna get the audience is gonna be very impressed by this. Olivia, what is the largest size piece of stone that we could get to cover that slab? Because
To cover what
you
slab?
know,
You need
well,
two. You
you
need
need two
two
exactly.
slabs. You're gonna have a seam, and you need two jumbo slabs. You don't need to. So we did quartzite. We were
Okay.
able to get quartzite in a nice big jumbo slab, and so we did
Yep.
one seam down the middle. But I
Yep.
got lucky. You know, on an island that big, a lot of times you need like three,
Yeah, totally.
just depending on
And
what
that
you can
just
find. So yeah.
well, like luckily they wanted to go with quartzite, not a natural stone, because you'd never
No,
find a
it's
natural
not
stone
quartzite.
that big.
It's natural,
Is it?
not
I thought
quartz. You're
quartz.
thinking
Oh,
quartz.
quartz.
Quartz is
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I heard corian is what I heard.
Oh God,
Corian.
no! I
Oh,
haven't
girl, no.
seen Corian since the 1900s.
19.
That's another.
uh,
That's another C word we do not use. Add that to the list. Corian,
really?
curtains, couch. What was the other one?
Oh, this is good. Corian curtains couch. These are words that we don't use. This is
We
good.
don't use those
This is
C
very
words.
good.
No,
Mm.
absolutely not.
I just going back to my like love of homes. I was actually in Boston this past weekend, and I visited the house of uh Revolutionary War hero. Oh
Of course,
gosh. Oh
of
no, no,
course you
of
did.
course, because that's what I do. But oh gosh, I should know. He was the silver maker, the famous silver maker from Boston. Oh gosh.
I am not your
What is
history person.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm like looking at the chat. Maybe somebody knows Boston Revolutionary War people.
Uh,
Anyway,
silver maker Paul Revere.
Paul Revere. There you go. You
Oh,
know
look,
history.
amazing! I
Paul
just know
Revere.
that he said the British are coming. That's all I know about Paul Revere.
Exactly, and he saved Boston. But we got a chance to visit his house, and it is so interesting to see the way, like, a wealthy sort of like, successful business person lived in 1750, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the windows were little, it had this like wonderful little siding around it. It was casement windows.
Mm-hmm.
Casement windows open out like
Frank,
this
Frank.
because the sort of sash window hadn't been invented yet. Do you like my sash
I do.
window?
I knew
Casement.
exactly what you were talking about when you did this.
Yeah. But that stuff is just so interesting to me, the way we live in time, and the way everything changes, and like we're just here for a moment to sort of appreciate, our particular way of living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely room sizes were different. They were probably more aligned to what you were used to growing up, much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Furniture was
Mm-hmm.
tiny. People were
Totally.
smaller. People were little.
People were little too. What's that
I don't know
about?
what happened. The stuff they put in our food, maybe, but people were smaller back then.
Yeah, that's totally true. Olivia, what else should we hit up? Because we got about 5 minutes left here. This has been so
Let's see. Well, there was somebody did write in a question I want to I want to make
Okay.
sure I answer.
Okay.
Um, what was one aspect of renovation that we were most nervous
Hmm.
about a family liking, and was that stressful?
Yeah.
I,
I mean, it
I
was
can tell
always
you what was the most nerve wracking one for me, and we clearly talk about it on camera during the show. It's episode 5, Miss Honey, Miss
on
Spicy
this honey.
Honey.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and painting those cedar walls like blue.
Yeah. You're
We
absolutely
were
right. And
were legit
that's,
stressed out for that one. Like my palms were
yeah.
sweating. You know, I kept clenching the hands. I always see if you watch every episode when we do the reveal, watch my hands. I'm doing this the entire time because I'm nervous.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because they got to live in it after we leave. That's a
Yes.
really, that's a really interesting point. I would also, suggest this too. Like, Honey was probably our most senior homeowner. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you think about the amount of time she lived in that house, it was probably the hardest to adapt because, she was used to a certain, she was used to a certain way of living. And like, who are we to come along and change that all of a sudden for her at, I don't remember how old she was, but like, yeah, it's harder to adapt the older you get, I guess is what I'm trying
Well,
to
and
say.
also she didn't call us. Remember, her daughter Lauren was the one who
Yep.
submitted for the show.
Yeah.
And
God, I
then she was like,
love.
"Oh, by the way, Grandma,
Yeah.
you're gonna be on a design show, and they're gonna come in and change everything." And she was very much a
Yeah.
creature of habit. Remember, Lauren said she would notice if a coaster was slightly out of place or a
Yep.
chair was turned slightly to the side. So
Yep.
I was
And that
really,
was evident
really
in,
nervous about that one.
yeah, no, you're totally right. And that was evident in the house too. Everything had its sort of particular way of being. Yeah. Trying to
But they
think like
loved
one
it.
that I was,
I
yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I shared this with you or not.
Mm-mm.
I think you were in on the message, but Lauren sent us a beautiful message. She
Lauren
had
the
her
nurse. She
bridal
was,
shower.
oh, at the
Remember, she was
house.
engaged. She had her bridal shower at the house, and they had this
Yes.
lovely balloon installation around the newly painted fireplace. And she said it looks so
Yes.
much better. And
Yes.
their family pictures are amazing now. So shout out, Lauren. Thank you for sharing that with us, just to let us know after the fact that y'all are still super happy with what we did, because we were nervous,
I
like
really
sweating,
liked,
nervous.
I really liked all those women. They all had, various degrees of sort of like spunkiness that they clearly inherited from Honey. They all had personalities. Like they were great. I really love those ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a different one that you were like kind of stressing about?
Um, Okay, I'm just trying to think through them. I remember being really nervous about, and maybe this is just sort of more of like a construction thing, but the last home we did, the Allreds, they had this big, beautiful wraparound porch,
Mm-hmm.
and we replaced all the spindles on the porch, and that
Mm-hmm.
was just like purely a lot of labor. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being really stressed out that we just actually weren't going to be able to get it done
Yeah.
because it
It
was
was
just
a lot.
it was so much work. And you think about like, yes, it seems quite simple to like, oh, you just cut the old ones out, put the new ones in. But like, all right, so hundred, you replace 100 spindles, that's 400 nails and screws.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Crazy.
with 400 nails and screws, the chance of something going wrong sort of, goes up there. So I just remember feeling really stressed about that and making sure that they were painted and sanded and looked good
Yeah.
enough because a handrail needs to be touched. So I remember being very stressed out about them, but they were really appreciative. I
Yeah. It
remember
looked great.
feeling that they were,
Somebody
yeah,
says
and
the
it looked great.
porch. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah,
porch came out really, like, when I watched it back on TV, I was like, oh man, that does look really good.
it does look really nice. Yeah. But that was
Yeah.
just a tremendous amount of labor. That was like a physically big build. And I just remember being very sort of afraid of that. And even to the point that I don't know if you know this, but we built that. I think we showed this on TV, but like I hadn't quite sort of made sense of the scale of that porch. And we made that sort of day bed that just wasn't generous enough or big enough for the space.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a reminder like the bigger the space is, the more physical material and labor and energy has to go into it. And when time is of the essence and you're motoring along, like it's just more material to move. It's more stuff to do. So I remember being very nervous that we were actually going to get that one done.
Yeah. We pulled
Yeah.
it off in the nick of time. I know we only have like a minute or so. If you have a couple more minutes, I did see someone mention about acknowledging comments, and I just want to say, you guys, give us some grace. We've never done Instagram Live before. This is both our very
Sorry,
first time doing this, and the
sorry.
comments are moving so quickly, and we just wanted to make sure that we could share our experience with you guys, and also just offer a
Yeah,
little bit more information about who we are as people. So it's kind of hard to do both at the same time. Um,
yeah.
somebody asked if we would ever consider giving a tour of our own personal homes. And I can answer for you. I know it's no, because you take your privacy very excuse me, seriously, as you
Hmm.
should.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna tell y'all, I am the designer who does not design her own house. I'm like the hairstylist who doesn't do her own hair.
The
Um,
shoemaker's kids.
yes,
Yeah.
I have no shoes. Um,
Yeah.
because I expend all of my energy helping other people and working on other people's houses, and unfortunately, by the time I get home, I'm just too tired and exhausted to look at it. So, when I get to the point where I do my own design, build, redecoration, then yes, I mean that's part of a designer's journey, is to show off their own home. But
Mhm.
right now, no, you get to see the background of my office for now.
And you guys get to see my wood shop, which I'm very proud of, and I like to show this off because this is where all the creativity happens. I will show off my home one day. I'm very proud of my home. It's a historic home, but I'm waiting for that invitation from Architectural Digest, and then I'll give them the
Hey, there you
proper
go.
tour.
That would be an
Yeah.
amazing one. Welcome to. Oh, we're gonna put that out for you. We're gonna. Yep, we're gonna make that happen.
Do you watch those, Olivia, by any
I
chance? Those
do. I saw the
architectural?
one with Lenny Kravitz multiple times.
Nice. Have you seen the one with Walter Goggins by any
I
chance?
have not. I'll put it on
He's
my list.
It's really cool. And like, it is one of those rare opportunities where I'm watching someone's house and feeling both like really inspired and totally envious because his design, I'm just like, I want that. And
But you know
it
what? You
just
use
speaks
that
to
as
me.
inspiration.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard somebody say whenever you feel envious about something, that is a cue that you want that thing.
Hmm.
So then let that be inspiration instead of a hindrance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to scroll
Totally.
for one more question. There's a lot of people saying that they love you and that you're a beautiful man. And
Oh,
if anybody wants to toss a compliment my way, feel free. I will gladly accept it.
oh,
People are in love with you since brothers and sisters. This is just like
oh.
giving
It's
little kids
very nice.
flowers, and I love that because you deserve it.
Well, I'm going to give you your flowers because Olivia, there's no way I could have shared this part of my interest in life without you.
Aw.
You truly made this show happen. No, really, like honestly, like I have an interest and a passion, but you have deep knowledge, you have incredible skills, and you also like know how to work with me. And that is really, really cool. Olivia learned so much more about sort of making TV than I probably learned about designing, because she was thrown into it. It was amazing. So thank you,
I
Olivia.
enjoyed
I couldn't.
it. It was by far one of the hardest things I've ever done. I know we didn't really
Mhm.
get into the nitty gritty of that. Maybe if we do another live for season two.
Yeah.
But filming a design show is unlike designing in real life. But
Yep.
you know, I knew that what we were doing, we were being of service to people.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons, the biggest reason why I took on the show. That
Hmm.
we were going to help people and improve lives, and so I
Hmm.
was willing just to go through the fire for it, you
Yeah.
know. And I learned a lot. It was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Totally. Keep
yeah,
keep life interesting. Try new things. Yeah.
exactly. Oh, somebody says I'm still beautiful and amazing. Thank you. Is it me, Hannah 64? Thank you.
Well,
All
you
right,
are.
this was fun. This was fun. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all the questions, you guys. It was moving so quickly, but we'll be better at it next time, we promise.
Absolutely. Hey Josh, by the way, Josh is in
Is
the chat.
Josh
What?
in the
Hey
chat?
Josh. I just saw a message from Josh. Yay. Hey Josh. Josh was one of the behind the scenes incredibly talented sort of co helper designers on the show. He was
He
remarkable.
was
We
our
couldn't have done it
art
without you,
director
Josh.
and he made
Art
me look
director.
so good. So, Josh,